Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, everywhere there's going to be a live or recorded section of this production. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. Hopefully, you all are doing great out there, having a fun time. Even though it's bright and early, it is 4:13 right now, right here in Central America. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about simple things of life. What is simple things to you guys? Don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here. That helps us out, brings more people in, especially whenever we do get a restriction, which will most likely happen. Um, Not because of stuff I say, but because in TikTok's AI algorithm wisdom, they feel like I am always trying to redirect people. So we'll see if we can avoid a restriction today. Shall we? Shall we? Let's see if we can. We'll see. We'll try. But welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. Is the color okay? Is the color all right? All right. So we're going to be talking about the simple things. It was raining yesterday, and it's still. I mean, the rain has stopped for now. What is my next chances? I want to see. I want to see what the chances are for rain. We're supposed to be getting rain next X amount of days, so we're gonna check that out. Sorry guys, I'm trying to adjust there. Let's see here. It's pulling up the weather forecast. It's giving me some weird town, but that's not where I'm at. But all right. So there is feels like 72 degrees. It's a nice day out there so far. Um, it's supposed to be cloudy all day long. No real chance of precipitation. I mean, it gives us a 33 to 30 to 33%, 34% chance by noon to 2. Let's see, tomorrow, partly cloudy. Potential rain most of the day, but I don't see that happening with it being partly cloudy. But they're saying from now until 10 o'clock tonight, we have the potential to get some more rain, which is helping out the garden, which is part of the simple things in life. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm a homesteader, and I do illustrations. So yesterday it was raining. It was a nice one of those nice light rains, getting ready to get to that heavy portion, and I was just sitting outside in it. We just put the birds away for the evening, and went and tended to the garden, checked things out, pulled some tomatoes off of the vine, and looked at the other plants that are putting on vegetables right now. And this is the earliest I can honestly say I've been pulling vegetables off of my garden. And most of them started from seed, and they're already doing phenomenal. Um, but I attest that to the new way that we're doing things on the homestead now, which is, you know, it's called a compost bed. You put basically it's a raised bed, but it's made with old logs that are already composting down, breaking down, and then you put those in the area and size you want, and from there you fill it in with debris such as leaves and sticks and things that'll compost down, and then you put some dirt on top of that, and then I put some topsoil on top of that because I put my compost dirt on top of the composting material, and then like I said, then we put the dirt, put some topsoil, and then we put garden soil over the top of all that. So you got a nice thick layer that's going to continue to compost down throughout the season. And already we're seeing vegetables coming off the vine, like I said, and that's way early as opposed to many times where it's not until what is this, May, almost June, it's almost July before we start seeing any, vegetation coming off of our plants. And now I've got growth happening like crazy. So it's just a testament to always change things up. But I'm keeping it very simple. I'm not building a whole bunch of stuff, which means I'm not using screws. I'm not using, new wood and things like that. I'm using what the land provides. And it was kind of cool because some of the logs that I was using, I'd had in my yard for basically 2 years. And so they were starting to rot out, compost down. Bugs were living in them, uh, worms and beetles and all kinds of stuff. So it was helping out already. So whenever I put those up in the back of the bed of the truck, and they were still, 200-300 pound logs, and I'm doing that by myself, getting it up in the bed of the truck. Um, and then putting them in place, it's just a cool feeling to see. It's just simple stuff, and we take simple for granted sometimes. I feel like we do anyway. I'm not saying that everybody does, but everybody wants all this high tech gadgetry, and like I'm using here, even though a lot of it is just simple and didn't cost a lot off the TikTok shop. Um, like this mic here. Yes, I've got two different mics going on because I've got two different, you know, things going on because I've got a sound card right here, which you can't see, but it's right there. Boom, boom, boom. And that sound card, you know, hooks up to the computer, which is an outdated computer because I can't even trick it into thinking that I can run Windows 11 on it like I can my other computer. And so, it's the simple things in life that we need to look at. What do we really need? What do we need a bunch of junk? Just clutter in the house? I mean, I did a declutterization of my office yesterday, and it was just like, why do I need all this shit? You know? And so, it's reevaluating a lot of things. And as you look around and you just look with the accumulation of stuff that we get over the years, it's just like, how can we make it simpler for ourselves? Do we need to live in a tiny house to make it simple? Do we need to live in a tiny house to not have as much stuff? But then, if we live in a tiny house, do we have a shed or a shop that's bigger than our house so we can do our projects in, such as, like here, not only do we do illustrations, the whole animal, which is chickens, geese, ducks, pigs, and the vegetable garden, but we also do small engine repair. We do simple car repairs because we haven't torn an engine out of a car yet and rebuilt it yet. So that's when we say simple. It's like changing an oil pan or changing the tie rods on the car, or changing the brakes and things like that. Spark plugs, all the easy stuff that you can do simply. And I know a lot of people say, well, everything else is simple too. Well, whenever you haven't done it, it's not that simple. Especially when you tear it all apart and you're like, I hope I can get this thing back together again. But it's just like whenever we're running, um, yes, I'm drinking a root beer this morning because I'm out of my V8. So get over it. And it's from Casey's right there. Boom. Casey's root beer. It's like when we're running 3D prints and things like that. We keep it semi simple on the 3D prints. We don't do anything too crazy since it's a resin printer. Now, I have tried to do some crazy things with it, um, such as, the articulated stuff, and some of them will come out, some of them have not. The multi-piece projects, like the Wolverine that still is missing its left arm. Um, this is Gambit from the X-Men. Was in the new Daredevil movie, portrayed horribly by Channing Tatum. Um, that Cajun accent he threw on it was so thick, you needed an interpreter to figure out what the fuck he was saying. Um, he did not, in my opinion, portray very well. He's too bulky for Gambit. Gambit is not a huge bulk of a dude. So why Ryan Reynolds went after him as Gambit, I have no idea. And so Remy LeBeau is his name. Gambit is his game. He supercharges his cards and throws them at people. He's very agile, and he knows some moves with his staff. Oh, I know. I get it. It's just a bad choice, in my opinion. Because if you have ever read the comic books before in your life, which a lot of people haven't, um, he's not that bulked up of a character, period. So, and then that thickness Cajun accent that he threw out there, way too over dialogued, if you will. So bad choice all the way around. And then they're talking about going ahead and adding him in to some other MCU. So I'd take the story. Again, keeping it simple. That's what today's title's about. And I know Tatum needs the money. They still could have picked a different actor all the way around. It's going to be my opinion till the day I die. So, and it will never change. So, there you go, Mr. T. Burns. And we'll go to the A team with Mr. T. That's cool. It is my choice, and it is my opinion. And like I said, I will still stick with it till the day I die. There's been a lot of bad choices for a lot of characters that have been portrayed all the way around in a ton of movies, horror movies included. Oh, so, you know, but then there's been a lot of great choices as well. Just like, you know, Wesley Snipes as Blade. Great choice. And he's been the longest portrayed character, out there for that. The Last Adam was great. Is that the one with the Rock in it as the Black Adam? But again, a lot of bad choices for characters out there, just like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Not, again, wasn't that bulked up of a character. They just stuck him in there for the female appeal. Pretty much why they stuck Channing Tatum in there as Gambit. So, was for the female appeal. Thanks, Magic Mike. And, you know, the whole Black Adam movie, is okay. Shazam movies, okay. Money is to the chase, huh? That's all you're about is money, money, money. Well, good for you. You go chase that bag out there. That bag of money. Go chase it. I got my bags of money right there. Bags of money. Money, money, money. Including this little gem right here. Let me find it right here. If I had my gloves in here, that'd be very helpful right about now. Especially for this little guy. 1943 steel mint penny right there. No, rent is not worth it because you're just throwing money away to somebody who just is overcharging you and most likely doesn't fix stuff. You know, if you have the opportunity, you should get a mortgage, and that way you're not just throwing money out the window. You know, especially if you're making enough to pay down your house payment and pay it off early and all that good stuff, or you win the lottery. You know, whichever one's come first. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just saying I got money in bags right here. 1943 steel mint pennies, tons of pennies from 40s and beyond. I'm a coin collector, a currency collector, and I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just saying money, money, money right there in the bag. Got the bags. Your previous message? Let's see what your previous message says. I'm not a character, but I get what the director is trying to do. I'm just massing, or are you messing? See, if you're massing money, that's good. But if you're messing, I get it, 100%. We don't take things too seriously around here, you know. And if you do, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you on that. So, simple things in life. How can you keep it simple? How can you keep it simple? Everything's a scam if you want to look at it that way. Himmy. I mean, going to work's a scam, you know? Why do we need money to live whenever we didn't used to? Everything worked off a barter system. So that's what makes Alaska so great, you know? Go to Alaska, use the barter system, but you still have to have money, you know? So there still has to be some form of income coming in, even if that's trades or, whatever you're looking at. So everything is a scam. Absolutely. Until that one big war kicked off way, 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 way back when, and they decided, oh, we need money for the war project. And then it was supposed to be gone. Then they brought it back a year later. And then after they decided, oh, well, it's lining our pockets, we'll just keep it going. And then it's been here ever since. It was already supposed to be gone. It should have been abolished a long time ago. And I think they need to go ahead and just abolish it altogether. I don't know where you're living at, but we don't have any $800,000 homes here. You know, I mean, we have some $800,000 homes here, but they're not small. Even tiny houses are ridiculously priced. The ones that are got all the amenities and stuff like that. Yes, we're at 9.7 thousand likes. We appreciate that. That puts us in the live or the popular live category, and that is great for us. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the heck you're living for $800,000 for a. And what are you considering small? Because in New York, I know some of their rentals are like $2,500 a month, but and that's for a small studio apartment. Seattle, Washington. That's that's quite crazy. What I mean, what's the dimensions? 1,200 square feet, 800 square feet. You know, like I live in a 1,600 square foot house, and I'm not even paying close to that. I mean, hell, my mortgage is less than some people's rent. See, that's ridiculous. See, mine was less than 100,000, way less, and it's 1,600 square foot. I live in Arkansas. I bought in 2022, so 4 years ago. And I know that there's three houses right next to me that just came up for rent, and they're wanting way too much for the renovated house that they just did. They're asking $1,200 a month rent, and top should be 750 to 800 rent total because the house is smaller than mine by a lot. Yep, I'm in the middle of nowhere, and that's how I like it because that's how it is in a lot of places. You know, it's not just here. I know in Oklahoma as well, some of Texas, Kansas, a lot of your central states, you can find a lot of great prices. It's in those big cities that, like Seattle, California, Florida, New York, any of the coastal states, it is astronomical to live and find anything that's affordable. So it sounds like you just need to move. Is what it really sounds like to me. Um, and and yeah, I don't know. You know, if you're looking at $800,000 on a 1,600 square foot place up in Washington, your rent or your mortgage is going to be, or even if it's a rental place, you're looking at what, 25 to $3,000 a month rent. Yeah, any like I said, any of the coastal states, it's astronomical because I see what some of my friends pay that live out in those areas, and it's ridiculous. It's just like find something more central, or I mean, hell, even move to Alaska. You know, cost of living, cost of living is higher in Alaska and Hawaii and places like that, but land is relatively cheap. And like I said, the barter system, if you can, you know, have stuff to take with you to barter with, especially DVDs and things like that, VHS tapes sometimes, but DVDs mainly, because entertainment is key in Alaska. Hawaii, not so much because there's a lot you can do. Like you can be a bum and wouldn't even know it in Hawaii because you saw people sleeping on the beaches all the time, especially the grass. The grass feels like carpet over in Hawaii. It's pretty awesome. So, um, but yeah, that's the simple stuff in life. If you can get through life like that instead of having to pay, you know, $2,500 to $3,000 a month rent or mortgage, that's ridiculous all the way around. So, and I'm sorry for those of you that have to do that. Ramen's not bad. You can do a whole ramen bowl, make it up as you go. Have that miso base in there, and then add in your eggs, your hard boiled eggs. Split them in half, stick it in there with some onions. All good stuff. Some good ramen bowls. There's some good places around here that do some good ramen bowls as well. But yeah, it's all about simple. And some places like that, 800,000 for a 1,600 square foot. I don't even know if it's an apartment or a house, but that's not simple. And I like I said, there are some pricey places here in Arkansas where I live in the Fort Smith area, which is just south of Little Rock, which is the big state or big town here in the state, as well as Bentonville, Fayetteville area, the home of Walmart. Um, that I mean, we've got a $10 million mansion here in Fort Smith that was owned by the Taco Bell owners at one point in time. The rich man is the man who found his balance. Because if you're a rich man, you're always wanting more, so you're not rich enough. And if you've got enough, are you still not trying to get a little more? So when is enough enough? It's like me. I look around here in my own office with all my comic books and collectibles and things of that nature. And it's just like, why? Why do I have all this stuff? Are my kids going to want it when I go? Probably not. Are they going to want to deal with all of it when I go? Probably not. So it's like, so what are you going to do with it all? I'll probably start pairing it off, keeping what I really, really want out of the whole kit and caboodle, and get rid of the rest and keep it simple. Just like my movie collection. I've got so many movies. Do I ever watch them? No. So why do I have them? Just comfort. Because, oh, if I wanted to watch it, I could go grab the DVD and stick it in, and there I go. Whenever I've got streaming channels that play the same stuff. No, I sure don't. To be honest, I could live in a tent in Alaska and be happy. 100% off grid, out in the middle of nowhere, bears roaming around me, coyotes, or wolves running around me. I'd be fine. I have no problems with that lifestyle. Because a lot of times I look around at this house and it's like it's too much. Why don't I bulldoze it down and put a tiny house on here, or bulldoze it down and put a trailer on here? You know, and it's just like so many people want the illustrious lifestyle, the expensive designer clothes, and the expensive cars that, oh, your insurance is eating you alive. Most people are trying to keep up with the Joneses, meaning they see somebody else have something and they're like, "Ooh, I got to be like that." And then they try it and it doesn't work out there in their favor. There's a lot of people that honestly don't care, what anybody else has. I drive a 2001 Dodge pickup. It's a beater. It's a work truck. I don't care. It still gets me from point A to point B. And, as long as I keep the upkeep on it, I'm good with it. You know, I have no issues with that truck. I'm not a Dodge guy, but it's what we got at the time, you know? And it came from Seattle, Washington, actually. And they didn't keep up the upkeep on it. So it's got a lot of saltwater damage thanks to Seattle up there, up there in that area. So I prefer peace, and a lot more comes naturally from that. See, there you go. The peace within yourself, the peace that doesn't come from other people, other things, having a bunch of stuff. Because whenever you have a bunch of stuff, you're always worried about fire, water, theft. Do you lock your doors at night? Do you lock your car up? Do you have security cameras? That says it all. Because if you don't do any of those things, lock your doors, lock your car, have security cameras, then you're kind of at peace. There's been many a nights that I've never locked my doors here at the house. Nothing's happened yet, but if it does, I'm prepared for it. I'm not interested in a big house. That's just more space to clean. Say you got you a 35,000 square foot house. Are you going to use every room? Are you going to be in every room all the time? Especially if it's just you. Now, if you've got a house full of people, say you're taking care of your mom, your dad in their elder years, you've got a grandparent that's still alive, and you decide, hey, I've got this big house, let's throw them in here, throw everybody together. Then, yeah, exactly, Casey. Things that you own can own you. I'm not interested in more. I'm actually looking at less. That's why I'm talking about the simple things. Because like when I was sitting out in the rain last night, yesterday, just looking over what I have. If I got rid of say 70% of the junk inside my house, I would still be happy because I still have 30% of the things that I enjoy. Because happiness comes from your inside. And if you're not happy with yourself, you're not going to be happy with anything else that you've got. If you're always looking for more, 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 then that means you're not happy somewhere else. So happiness starts on the inside. Once you get happy with yourself and comfortable with yourself, then you can start being happy with the things that you have around you. And if a giant mansion is what you crave because you want to be the hey, look at me guy, look what I've got, then so be it. That's you. I'm not that guy. This is what I do. This is what I do. It's the simple things. Paint doesn't cost a lot. Now there are some paints that do cost more than others. It should be. What is your driving motivation every time you get up out of bed? Let's ask that question to you, Hemi. What's your driving motivation when you get up? Mine is, are my animals okay? Is my girlfriend taken care of? Is there food in the fridge? I'm good. Through the storms, did a tree branch hit the house? Did a tornado come through and I missed it because I was sleeping so good because of the storm? We all have storms in life. What's your driving motivation when you get up in the morning? I can't say that those are bad choices, but if that's all you're wanting out of life, then I guess you better become a sports star and get you some millions of dollars. I don't know you. I don't know what your background is, where you come from. I come from nothing. Let's just be real. My parents tried to, my mother and my stepfather tried to, buy the love, if you will. Meaning they put on a good front even though they didn't have the money. They still tried to do, they tried to keep up with the Joneses with what they had. So, yes, birthdays and Christmases, we always got overabundance of presents and things like that. But that shouldn't be your driving goal. Your driving goal shouldn't be to get all the women to flex on everybody. That should not be a driving goal when you get up in the morning. Now, if you want to be a boss and have your own business, that still shouldn't be your driving goal. Your driving goal should be, are you happy when you get up in the morning? Do you have enough when you get up in the morning? Now, if you're doing trades and things like that, you're always wanting to check your stock options and stuff of that nature, of course. Um, and so there's ways to gain wealth, but don't be a jerk doing it. You know what I mean? And if you do gain wealth, do you really need to flaunt it? It's just like people that win the lottery. The first thing they do is brag about winning the lottery. Well, what does that do? That brings out people they've never seen before, saying, "Oh, you're my relative. I need, I need." Amen. Like Casey said, for some of us, just making it through the day and seeing the next is a wonderful thing. And that's why I always talk about, be grateful for where you are, because tomorrow's not promised. The next 5 minutes aren't promised. And it's just like my stepdad thought he had more time. Well, he's gone now. He just passed away on Tuesday of last week. And it's been hard on my mother, you know, because she's up there in age. So tomorrow isn't promised. So for whoever you have in your circle, your close friends, whatever, tell them you love them on a regular basis. Just like I love you guys who are coming on here, checking things out on our broadcast channel here at 412 Productions, which is the art of meat. Monty Anderson here. Um, just be grateful for the simple things in life because you don't need all that fanfare. Absolutely, 100%. You want to know who you are when it comes down to it. And if you're still trying to figure your own self out, how can you figure out a relationship? How can you figure out what your next move down the road is going to be? And that's the hardest part for a lot of people is not knowing who they are, but still trying to make things work. But that's where it comes back to. The happiness comes from the inside. Is an inside job, as Casey put it earlier up there. And I'm not saying that having a lot of money isn't a bad thing because having money can simplify some things in your life, you know, but it can also compound a lot of things as well. A hot glass of water with, I'm not sure if that was supposed to be that, a cracker in peace, like a saltine cracker, is better than a prime rib in chaos. There you go. And so Find out who you are. Do you have to vacation alone? No, you can start the inner work, find out what you like, what is your, I guess in a Star Trek term, primary directive. um, you've got to look at what drives and motivates you a lot. See me, if I'm not making artwork, I'm miserable. Just because I know that's what I'm supposed to do. When I was working my 9 to 5 job, if you will, it was miserable because it's not where I was supposed to be spending my majority of my day, my time. But that's my was my only source of income. Even though I started this journey of going to comic book conventions and things like that back in 2017, it's still having that other job was a pain because I couldn't do the things I needed to do for myself. And then you're always stressed about having to go to work. What's going to happen that day? How are my associates going to be? You know, and the people I worked with were just dicks, 100%. And it got to the point where they drew this big target on me, you know. And for the last 2 years of when I worked there was not the best at all. But there's a lot of source books out there that you can find to work on your inner self. I can't give you an example of one. I know I've seen them. Um, but how old are you, Kimmy? Just rough estimate. I mean, I'm 54. I'll be 55 soon, and I'm still figuring things out. You know, you're 26, so you still got a lot of growing to do. So you're still a baby. In the grand scheme of things, you're still a pup. So, um, there's a lot of what's called self help books out there that you can find, you can read. You can even Google, how to, you know, find out who I am. If you Google that, you're gonna find a whole bunch of self help stuff that pops up. Again, like I said, I don't know your background. I don't know where you come from. I don't know if you come from money, if you come from poverty. Like me, I came from poverty. So even though it was middle class poverty, it wasn't like living out of a cardboard box. So, and it was only thanks to my grandfather because he let my parents stay in the houses that he owned at the time. And had those houses not been there, I'm pretty sure we would have been close to a cardboard box somewhere. Just the way they spent money. So you can't be looking at what everybody else has around you, even your friends. Because I know that there's a school here in Fort Smith called Southside. It's where all the rich people go. And you look at the parking lot over, you barely see a beater out there, meaning a hoopty, a crappy car, all that good stuff. Most of the cars are, you know, the latest model probably is a 2010 tops out there in the parking lot because the parents have the money. They buy their kids a car, on their 16th birthday, and some of them get brand new cars. Well, you go to the other school, Northside, here in town as well. That's where the mid-range kids go. I can't say the poverty range go, but now some of them do have money in that school, but not all of them. And you look the parking lot over, you get some nice cars, but you also get some cars that are from the 1990 era to mid 2000 range. So if you were to drive by both parking lots and look, you're like, "Ooh, I want to be like these kids because they've got the 2010 and up to 226, cars in the parking lot. I don't want to be like that other school that's got all the crappy cars in the parking lot." So, Hemi, you can't look at life that way, or you will always be chasing something. Oh, finally making it to the show, 46 minutes in. No, I'm not going to do a recap. You can go watch the first 46 minutes of the show, and then you can get caught up. Thanks for playing. But welcome, Roy. Welcome, Roy boy. JoJo Twilight Bradley Jr. Welcome to the show. Um, because if you're always going to be chasing, then you're never going to be working on yourself. Nothing's going to make you happy because you don't have what that other person has. Ooh, I don't have a Tesla. Ooh, I don't have a brand new iMac. Oh, I don't have I don't have that new fancy watch. I don't have. So you're always going to be chasing. Roy, it's okay. I've never wanted the lifestyle. And that's okay. Um, like I said, I don't know who you hang around with as far as what they have, what they flaunt, um, what they're showing on the outside on a regular basis. If it's fancy clothes, fancy cars, fancy whatevers. There you go. There you go. But up in Washington, I get it. I've had friends that lived up there in Washington, in Seattle specifically, and but he was a simple guy too. He was from the same stomping grounds that I grew up in. He just went to the military a lot earlier than I did, and he went out of high school. I waited till I was 33, and so he got to see a lot more of the world than I did. And Seattle was one of his stops prior to him getting out of the military. And so I know Seattle can be one of those rich spots, if you will, but you also got to look at the other side of it too. You've got the mid range, and then you've got the poverty range. And it's just like anywhere else, not just in Seattle, but many different states. You know, well, pretty much all states have the same hierarchy, if you will. But you can't be chasing what other people have. But if that's the only way you're gonna feel happy, then you do have some inner growing to do, even at 26. You know, at 26, I had 3 kids by that point in time, and I wasn't happy because I started life way too young, started adulthood way too young, um, got married at 19, and in the 2 marriages that I have had, I spent 30 years in a relationship. You know, I mean, I'm in a relationship now, but it took me a little bit longer in between the two, in between the second divorce. Um, but I'm happier now than I have been in those other 2 marriages, to be honest. And not saying there aren't rough patches, but you know, it wasn't detrimental to my health like the other ones, if you will. So happiness starts from the inside. So you've got to build that and find out what you truly want in life. Because if you can't find that inner peace and that balance, then you're always going to be chasing something. And I know this world is a money driven world and nothing's getting cheaper, no matter who's president, no matter who's what, you know. Do you think marriage is worth it at this point with the divorce rate? It depends on if you found your life partner or not. You know, the girlfriend that I'm with now, she and I don't want to get married. She doesn't want kids. You know, it's a perfect mix for me and her. So, you know, we go and do adventures together. You know, like we crystal mine, we go on hikes, we go fishing. Simple things. That's a good place. I mean, Hawaii is great. I want to go back. I was there in 2008 and was there for 3 weeks working with the military, training the Tropic Thunder up there in Hawaii. Over there in Hawaii, I can't say up there, but a great place. I mean, Oahu, awesome. I don't know about the Big Island. I wasn't there on the Big Island of Hawaii, but Oahu, which is the step down, great island, lots to do, and technically you don't even need a hotel room. You know, um, you'd be perfectly happy on the beach. Yeah, it rains there quite a bit, but you know it's like those mid afternoon pop up thunderstorms. You know, and Hawaii, I'd say go if you've got the finances and the money to go to Hawaii, do it. Thanks for the gifts out there. Thanks for the likes, the shares, and the follows. Those of you that have followed me, I will follow you back after the show. We are discussing simple things in life. We're getting into a life lesson with Hemi right now, which is fine. And this is what we do. We talk about all kinds of things here, except for two things. Casey, what are those two things we do not talk about? Well, ultimately, I want to find myself, but I'm trying to solve for X first so I don't have stress. Now, I get that. I get that. And yes, definitely find yourself first. And it's yeah, absolutely, Casey. We don't talk about the Pope or Trump, which means we don't talk about religion or politics here. Just because, and I'm going to give you the reason why we don't talk about religion or politics here, because people lose their damn minds whenever we talk about those two subjects. And you can see it on everybody else's platform that does talk about politics and religion. You get all of the people popping on with all of their opinions and things like that, and and they just lose their minds on those talks. So there you go. We do talk about that team because I can't talk about your other girly girl teams that you follow there, Roy. So, um, but you definitely find yourself. And again, there's a lot of self help books out there. I don't know what bookstores you have up in Seattle, Barnes and Nobles maybe, um, but they do have the self help section there. Um, I'm trying to think of who else you guys might have. I don't know if you guys have Books a Million up there or not. But find a local bookstore and go in there, Hemi, and pick you up some literature, or even Google it because, like I said, you can find pretty much anything you want on Google now. Because I do not have all of the answers. You know, yeah, those girly girl teams right there, definitely girl teams. Um, I just have a life of knowledge. And I don't know everything about everything, and I will admit that I know a little about a lot. Um, Relationships, like I said, I've been in several, two marriages, and then you know girlfriend. So, which all of them started out as girlfriends first, and then they went into marriages. This one will be girlfriend for life, and if anything ever happens to it, I'm probably done. I'll go be a hermit somewhere, living in Alaska by myself, and if I pass on, then the bears and the coyotes get my remains, and whatever's left. So, and ain't no shushing there, Roy boy. It's all that girly teams that you follow right there that you just mentioned. So, all girly girl teams. So, and everybody knows it. So there you go. All right. But no, I'd go to Hawaii, in a heartbeat. If I had the resources and didn't have all these animals to take care of, I'd be there right now. And because Hawaii is just an awesome place. It you can be out there by yourself, sitting on the beach, and not have to worry about anybody bothering you. And you can be in your thoughts, just like Kelly's book, Thoughts on Thoughts on Thoughts. It's a poetry book you can find out there in the world. I'm not going to tell you how to get it because we'll get a restriction. So we're not going to do that. But but yes, Hemi, there's lots of sage advice out there. Lots of advice that you can glean from a lot of different people. Now you are going to get the people that are like, no, you definitely want the car, the house, the big house, the designer clothes and all that stuff because that makes you who you are. No, you want to give it a rest. I've got a show going on. I've got a raccoon digging in my ceiling right now. I can hear his little nails. Thank you. He listens. So, oh, you only listen for a minute. So find you. Find the simple things that you like. Find the simple things that you enjoy. Because if you're 26, you were born in what, 99 or 2000? We're a touch shy by point 0.2 thousand likes. We're at 32.8 thousand. So you were born in 99. So let's see. Rugrats, or late Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Trying to think of some of the stuff you grew up on. Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I don't know if that's the type of stuff you were into. I don't know if you play video games. And I understand that a lot of gamers want to be just like this gamer or this gamer or that gamer. Because there's a lot of people that want to be like T-Tone out there. Um, and so on and so forth. I mean, there's a lot of gamers out there that I don't know all their names of, but I've seen them because my kids used to watch them, religiously. Uh, and they were born, in the 90s as well. So, except for my youngest, she was born in 2003. And so, why be like somebody else when you can be like you? I'm a me. There's only one of me. I don't have to fit in. I don't have to conform to what the world has. All right, man. You have a good day. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, Mr. Humble Bumble. Welcome to the show. Are you off at a meeting right now? Is that why you've snuck off and are watching your videos because the meeting hasn't kicked fully off yet? This is the first week. I saw some travel videos of some guys heading out to the next meeting. But welcome to the show, man. Good to have you here. and all of your funny little videos that you like to make now on TikTok and share to the world. But yeah, Hemi, just don't chase what other people have. It never leads to good things. And if that's any sage advice that I can give you, any good advice, don't chase what other people have. Don't listen to those people that are always wanting more, 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 more. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I don't have enough Hot Wheels. I don't have enough cars in my garage. I don't have enough motorcycles. I don't have enough underwear. You know, I know Roy's got underwear older than most people on the show right now. So, um, he's had them since early '90s, and I think he's even got a framed pair at his house. Oh man. But yeah, don't try to chase what other people have. It's never going to lead down good roads, if you will. And be you. Be you fully. No, never. My life goals were to become a firefighter or a because my grandfather was a firefighter. He was actually a fire chief. And that was one of my kid goals was to become a firefighter. That didn't happen. The next one was to be an artist. That happened on countless number of things, not just my own clothing. Um, but no, I've never wanted to have it all. I wanted to have enough so I didn't have to worry about where my next meal comes from, where my gas for my car comes from, where so on and so forth. That means if I've got a couple $100 in the bank, cool. That means I can get, food for the fridge. I can get gas for my car. I can get, do whatever. But I understand there's people that want, well, if I don't have $10,000 sitting in my bank account, then something's wrong. I get that. And yes, if there was $10,000 sitting in my bank account, I wouldn't be worried either, unless my lifestyle was above that $10,000 limit, you know, meaning my mortgage was 3,000 of that 10,000. My car payment was another 1,500. So how much is that right now? You just took 5,000 away from what you had, or more, or $5,500 away from that 10,000. And if that's your cushion is 10,000 in the bank, and you've got all these other expenses coming out on a regular basis, then how are you going to keep that 10,000? Oh, you have to have a job that pays you at least $40 to $50 an hour. Then you better become a plumber, a sanitation worker, um, an IT guy at a big company, something that's going to be paying those astronomical numbers. Some artists I do see that get, like anywhere between $60 and $80 an hour on their artwork, but that's not me. I don't charge those type of prices, period. Because I know that people out there are trying to make a living as well. So, so I keep it relatively reasonable. I have a price point for everybody when it comes to my artwork. And if you're in the military, I give discounts for that too. So, and it's not like Walmart where they mark it up by 60% and oh, I'm giving you a 20% discount. So now you're from that 60%, now you're at a 40%. No, that's not how I do things. My price is my price, and if I give you a discount for being military, then you get a great discount. So you do get a 20% discount for being military. So, as many of my friends have come to find out and get artwork. So, but yeah, that's just find yourself, man. Do the inner work. Find out what you like, what you enjoy. And if you've got a girlfriend, a wife right now, or whatever, 26, hopefully you've got a girlfriend, or I mean, you could be married at 26. A lot of people are. Just look at what made you happy before the world came in. What was the simple things in life that you enjoyed? Me, I've always been an outdoors guy ever since I was a kid. It was very rare if you found me in the house. I was sick, probably, because 98% of my life I was outside. I still am. I mean, I'm indoors more now than I ever have been, as an adult, just because of the jobs I've had and so on and so forth. But every chance I get, I'm outside somewhere. So outdoors makes me happy. So that's where the homestead comes into play, because I'm outside tending to the animals. I'm outside tending to the garden. Those type of simple things in life. Now I know not everybody gets those opportunities because everybody's got a 9 to 5, which is either a day shift, a mid-afternoon shift, or an evening shift, which goes until the morning, which is the graveyard shift. And I get that. I've had all of them. I've had the morning shift, I've had the mid shift, and I've had the graveyard shift in my lifetime. And to be my own boss of my own art company is the best decision I ever made, because there's less stress with it all. No stress of punching a time clock. No stress of, like I said before, what's this coworker going to be like today? What are these coworkers going to be like today? How are these two guys going to be working together? You know, as they act like children. So find you by finding what makes you happy. Is it hard to get sales? No. I haven't done a comic book convention in 2 years. 2024 was my last comic book convention, in December, actually. And I haven't done one since. And I'm looking to get back into it, but if I don't, I'm okay, because I still get sales. I'm working on 5 different commissions right now, paid commissions. Um, I just got done doing my second novel artwork, that's getting ready to be put on another novel book cover, for the Sour Worlds. Right here, this is my artwork on this book cover right here on Calamities, Sour Worlds Calamities, right here, and by James Bishop. Back here on the back, you see it is autographed here. My autograph goes on the front if anybody buys these. And I'm on countless number of comic books as well, because different people search me out and ask me to do covers for them. I actually did a whole comic book, 8-page comic book, intro to the character. Not an intro, but a fill-in book for the character. Legacy Comics out there, Comics, Legacy Comics, yeah, comics with an X instead of a C at the end. Patrick Hickey Jr., great guy, um, asked me to do the whole book, the 8-page book. Went ahead and did that for him. I've done another cover for him as well on The Job. Both of these are book number. No, The Job was number 3. The one shot story for Condry, Man's Best Friend, was a standalone book. And then where it all started was William Russell's Psycho Sal, #3, which I did the cover for, which the artwork's laying back there somewhere in the back. But no, I don't find it hard to get sales. Um, and people from TikTok buy from me on a regular basis. People from Facebook buy from me on a regular basis. People from Instagram buy from me on a regular basis. Now, are there lulls in sales? Absolutely. You know, because not only do I do stuff on canvas or paper or comic book covers, like right here, get the Ken Hunt out of the way, but right here, this one's going to be colored up. I just put it back in its protective covering because I've got a leaky ceiling right now. But right here, this is a drawn up Emma Frost on X-Men cover, Uncanny X-Men #1 variant. But subscriptions are great. You know, that's why I do have an OF account, because I do a little bit more risque work as well, but that's very rare. And I just haven't set it up because I don't know how I want my tiers, which would be a subscription basis, with that, how it goes. And you can subscribe to anybody. You can subscribe to me here. You can subscribe to me on Facebook and things like that, because all my accounts are monetized. So yes, I make a little bit of money from my Facebook account, from right here on TikTok as well. I don't make nearly as much as right here on TikTok as I do on Facebook, but um, and I don't make a lot. You know, $5 here, $3 here, $6. I think the most I've ever gotten off of Facebook was $15 so far. Whereas I see a lot of other people, oh well, I hit the $100. Oh, I hit $250. It's just like, well, you guys are posting like every 7 minutes or so. I don't have time for that. I'll do some artwork. I'll post it every now and again. I mean, I post a lot of artwork, but yeah, no, it's not hard to make sales, and subscriptions are good, um, as far as how things go on that note. So it's all in what you want to do with your life. You know, me, I make artwork, I play in the dirt, and I live adventures. Now I don't live as many adventures as I used to, just because of the animals now. But we do what we can. We do the best we can. You know. But that is it for today, folks. Hemi, if you want to talk more, you can hit me up, DM, all that good stuff, and we can continue to chat. I have no issues with that, but I got to go take care of some animals as we speak. I do appreciate each and everybody being here. Tell your friends you love them on a regular basis. And as I like to say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody. I have chickens. Sorry. I have chickens. I have a homestead. I have chickens, ducks, geese, pigs, all that good stuff. That's what I take care of on a regular basis. I do have dogs and cats in the house, but you know, they're pretty self-explanatory on those guys, because they take care of themselves, especially the cats, more than the dogs do. Um, we haven't gone that far yet. That's the next step, is getting the meat chickens, which is the fryers. We have the laying chickens right now, the hens and the roosters and all that good stuff that are there for the egg production. We are going to be doing the meat chickens, which are the fryers. That means you butcher them up. The pigs are just pets; they're not for eating. So, and we did have goats at one point in time, but we got rid of those. But there you go, Kimmy. Again, we can talk later, but I'm out of here. You guys have a great day. Love you all. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. And we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.